Now, the Dragons, as we mentioned, they had a dreadful afternoon. Here's their coach.
I think we've been losing for 2 years now, so the belief is certainly not there that we can go out and beat the top sides, but effort could be a lot better across the board, that's for sure, mate. I thought there's some good effort from Cody Ramsey. I thought there's some good effort from Max Feagai, Zach Lomax, Matt Duffy at certain stages. So there is some effort there, but consistently across the board, we need to be better. I just think that we wouldn't have beaten Dapto today the way we played that first half. It was just under 8 stuff. In the end, they made 260-something tackles and we made 410. So you're going to get some poor defensive stuff and some fundamental errors when you're making that many tackles, but that's not an excuse. We're much better than that, and the players know that.
A really disappointed Dean Young there. They wouldn't have beaten the Dapto Dogs. Under 8 stuff. I mean, that's stinging.
Yeah, it's blunt, it's brutal, but it's honest. And I've got to say I like that about what Dean Young has brought to the table since he's taken over from Paul McGregor. But Mick, I guess the question is, you know, the guns were turned on Mary for much of this season and also much of last year. They've changed the coach, but the results, it's the same thing, different day.
Yeah, there's going to have to be some hard conversations from incoming coach Anthony Griffin, because what he mentioned there, which was alarming, was not only the fact that they played under 8 style of footy and played a style of footy that wouldn't have beaten Dapto, but the names he mentioned were young Ramsey, were Feagai, was Lomax, all the rookies. And the fact that, you know, he said the amount of tackles that they had to make, defensively there was going to be poor decisions. No, have a look at the first set of 6. Chris Randall waltzed through Paul Vaughan, their marquee front rower, and Kade Ellis, straight through the front door. The 2 Safidi brothers today, 2 tries, 3-4 metres out, just barge overs, straight through the middle. The effort from their highest paid players, Ben Hunt and Corey Norman, defensively on edges, they just waltz through them. So
have they clocked off, do you think?
If you're Anthony
Absolutely
Griffin,
they have. In a performance today, Von, you would have to think so. As harsh as that is, that opening 40 minutes today and 30 points to 6 just certainly wasn't at the level that Dean Young would have expected.
If you're Anthony Griffin, Mick, do you tap Corey Norman on the shoulder immediately and say, thanks for your services, but we need to go in a different direction?
Yeah, I do. I think it's come to that point in time. And I also think today as well that, you know, I think they need it's time for a change. It's time for a roster change. And I think, you know, seeing Ben Hunt again over the last fortnight go into the halves, given what I saw from him and how confident I was starting to believe in him as a number 9. Today was his 7th appearance throughout the season in the halves, and they haven't won a game with him at halves.
Wow.
Yet they've been a vastly different side when he's played dummy half. You've got Mal Meninga, who's the Australian coach, that uses him in the dummy half position. Kevin Walters obviously plays him at dummy half in the representative football. I know Ben wants to play halfback, but I think Anthony Griffin's going to have some really big conversations, and I know he's already come out and said that he thinks Ben's a halfback, but I think, you know, what he's seen over the last fortnight, I think there'll be some conversations had with him when he gets through the front door in November, and I also think that there has to be a hard conversation with Corey Norman at 5'8", because I just don't believe that they can get to where they want to get to with that halves pairing.
Just looking at some of the highlights from Ben Hunt, there was a crusher tackle, which is concerning because the Dragons only have 1 game left this year. So then if he does get some sort of suspension for this, does that encroach on his origin availability?
Yeah, you can see there the arm that hooks underneath Hymel Hunt there. That's what they look for in those crusher tackles. They've been upgraded, which we've seen at the back end of this season. Look, it's not, you know, the most brutal one, but I think he'll certainly be charged. And you're right, Von, only 1 game to go. So I think if he takes the early guilty plea, if he doesn't have any carryover points, he may be free to play that first state of origin. But if he does, then it will put him in grave doubt. I
reckon he's under threat big time from Harry Grant and Jake Friend anyway, just to retain the number 9 jumper.
Well, yeah, well, I think you're right. But I also think that the 14 jerseys become on the market, because I don't think Moses Mbai has certainly had the greatest season, with all due respect, at the Tigers, and the form of AJ Brimson has certainly pushed him into calculations for the Queensland
the door off
side.
The hinges.
Well, he has.
He's banging it down.
So he has to be in the conversation, and no doubt, yeah, the performances that he's turning in every week, he's put Kevin Walters right on notice that he wants to be part of that.
The pick and stick will be put to the test, that is for sure. All right, it was chaos in the capital. Big hits. There were